The meanie gang is forever.
All right, here we are once again. Got my man Raging Tiger here with me, man. We got to pour one out for 2XKO. They are not going end of service, but they are going development is ending. That's a nice way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And
support is it.
Yeah. So essentially, we will get the last two DLC characters that they promised, and then maybe in December we will get a patch. They are also refunding everybody that's paid since August 20th of this year. And there will be an Ultimate Edition for $40 that will give pretty much everything. What are your thoughts on what's going on, man? I have my thoughts, but and I'm sure we're going to say a lot of the same, but here we go.
Yep. I mean, it's a shame because it seemed like it was starting to pick up. It seemed like it was starting to pick up steam. At the same time, you and I both expressed issues over the pricing and business model for the game because obviously they're, being a Riot game, they tried to follow the same Riot monetization formula that they've been doing for all of their games like Valorant, League, and some of the other games that they make whose name escaped me. So
Team Fight?
Team Fight, yeah, that's it.
There we go.
There's a bunch of them, and I don't feel like pulling up the Riot launcher, but yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, the monetization for me is the big thing. For them to now decide, well, we're going to throw in the towel and sell this for 40 means you should have done that from the jump.
Right. Had they sold this, had this game came out at the gate at like a $40 price tag, like $40 for all of the available characters. And honestly, I would have thrown in their costumes, but I understand that they were throwing in skins on skins on skins. So at a minimum, $40 for every character in every stage, I think would have been fair.
That would have been fine. And if they had had the single player mode, like what is that called?
The
PvE mode
climb.
or whatever. Yeah, the climb. There we go. I was about to say the crawl, the climb. If they would have had that in the base game, gave you all the characters, even just the base roster and all the stages, that would have been a solid $40 game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting them to BS and K and throw the farm at you, but for $40, that'd have been perfect. And then maybe an additional skin in that stuff if you want. And then you could charge your DLC, like your season pass for your characters, and then your battle passes if you want to go that route. But yeah, what kind of turned me off is I have to grind this game to get the characters, and the only way I can know if I like the characters is if I go into training mode or do their trials. And that was similar with Multiverses before they relaunched it and changed it. So I used to have to go into training mode to try out characters before I decided if I liked them.
And I think Killer Instinct was kind of like that too.
Yeah, I would have rather just dropped the 40, gotten all the base characters. So then even if I didn't like them, it's well, I didn't grind for days to unlock them. I just bought them and it is what it is, right? But yeah, the monetization is the big thing. They're trying to monetize it, like you said, you Riotize it, as you said it, it's every other IP they have. And I'm sorry, the fighting game community, I don't think there's that much overlap between League players and fighting game players where they would justify that, because there's no fighting game with that kind of monetization.
Right.
Even the free-to-play model of game, the last major one people can think of is Multiverses, and maybe this DC KO thing might end up being like that, but it's man, they had Batman and Superman in that game, and it still didn't work.
Yeah, though I would say that Multiverses it was never considered a DC Comics game. So sure, Batman and Superman are in it, but it wasn't a Batman and Superman game. They were just guest characters, since it was a Smash game. So I didn't really see that game attracting, any hardcore DC comic book fans or Batman fans or Superman fans. It was just here's a Warner Brothers game and Batman and Superman are in it.
Yeah, it felt more like a Cartoon Network kind of fighting game.
That's exactly what it was. Especially when you look at some of the other characters that were in it. I mean, didn't it have the dudes from Adventure Time and some
Yeah,
other people in there? Yeah, so
my nigga Finn, bro, top tier Finn. Uh, but yeah, so
Scooby Doo and all that. Yeah,
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 so Shaggy, Velma, like to have all them in that game, like there's a lot more appeal, like to a wider audience
yeah.
than League. Like I barely knew people from League looking into 2XKO, but it looked cool, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot or whatever. But
So I knew in the beginning, I knew a couple of people from League who, uh, who were initially interested in the game, and then they just kind of waffled and went back to playing League and Valorant. And then on event hubs in the forums, you would come across a couple of 2XKO fans who also played League. And whenever they announce a new character, like for example, Lux and I forget the other chick's name, but there were people that were like, "Oh, she's gonna be my new main," because I main her and LOL, and so there's initial fan, but I think the problem is they didn't move fast enough to capitalize to keep the League fans interested in it. But and then as far as the FGC fans, yeah, the monetization was ridiculous. They're like, why am I gonna pay $20 for one character and all of their costumes? And I think it was even more than that. If you want all the skins and colors, I think it's like damn near 40. And it's like nobody's paying that per character.
yeah, and the thing that the problem I really had is obviously like the rotating store was a big problem too. Like,
Yeah, give me all
I already have to
if you want
spend
to
a
take my
chunk of
money,
money.
don't make me wait to spend money. Yeah.
Right. That wasn't very smart either. And again, this is like free to play. They try to FOMO you, but it's like that doesn't really work a whole lot in the FGC. Like that's not how the
Not only that,
monetization
but
is.
like how are you gonna FOMO with 8 characters? Like
Right. They don't got that many people in the first place. So like, it's just a shame. The Doomers are going to say that this game is a sign that fighting games are dying, which I don't believe at all. I just think that Riot should have never done it, or they should have waited longer. But they spent 10 years and they felt like they just had to get it out. But the game hasn't even been out for an entire year.
hmm
So it's like, okay, like if you would have just like, damn, even Mortal Kombat got longer seasons than this, bro. Like,
yeah, usually like and it's funny because it is never intentionally did it. Mortal Kombat I'm talking about. It's never intentionally did this, but it is consistently goes in support for 3 years before moving on to the next one. And even though that has been a pattern for literally the last 4 games, it's not been intentional. And especially with Mortal Kombat 1, Ed Boon planned on having multiple seasons. He wanted it to go for a while, but unfortunately, all of the blame there goes with Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers has always been a mess as a corporation, and the fact that they keep switching hands. They recently got acquired by Paramount, and then Paramount is trying to do this merger between them and it's not Comcast. I forget who. Netflix. So Paramount got Warner Brothers, and now Paramount is trying to buy Netflix. Doesn't look like that's going to go through, but anyway, Warner Brothers has been terribly run, so that means that every IP underneath it suffers.
yeah,
Seems like the only IP that doesn't seem that affected is the Game of Thrones franchise.
yeah. And so, like with 2XKO, it's just, I think the monetization was a real big issue. The game itself, I thought, was fine. Obviously, it had a rough start. And I mean, like, even now, right? When I was in Boston a couple weeks ago, they ran a monthly and a local while I was down there, and I was still seeing screen tearing. And I'm like, why is this like this after so many months still in the game that they're still screen tearing? So I'm like, yeah, they shouldn't have brought it to launch yet.
Now, was that on?
It was on
Was that
PC.
on PC? They were running the tournament. Oh, okay.
PC.
Yeah. I can't remember if experienced. So the interesting thing, and I remember bringing this up with you before, on the Xbox, I never really had any screen tearing issues. On the PC, I definitely had screen tearing issues. So I just stopped trying. My main beef with the PC version is the full screen mode. They didn't have a way to have a native full screen mode where you could set the resolution. So on my monitor that I normally game with, I have a 43-inch gaming monitor. Um, it always wanted to go to 4K, and I'm like, no, dude, just go to. Normally, when I game, I don't game. I don't run my games 4K on this monitor. I run them anywhere between 1440, 16, or 1600p, something like that. But for games, I almost never run at 4K on this thing because my laptop isn't built like that. So
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for like after seeing that, like in Boston, I was like, damn, that's got to hurt that community because like, Riot, like they sent that local like prize pack. So I got like a 2XKO lanyard and some other stuff like that. Like the winner of the tournament got something. So they're not gonna have that Riot support, which was supposed to be the thing to pull people in the first place. And like even the competitive circuit ends like this year, like grand opening, grand closing. So it's unfortunate because like I truly think they should have kept the rank. I think they should have kept the rank. Well, they should have just let the rank. Yeah, they should have just kept rank.
yeah,
They should have kept rank.
let that John play. Yeah,
Yeah, because even like Street Fighter V and other games that aren't, they still have a ranked mode and you can still do casual. So they should have kept that. They are having 40-person lobbies though, which is cool. But yeah, I just what I truly think is going to happen is that they're going to finally give everybody what they want, but then they're going to stop supporting the game, and then I'm sure there'll be some sort of an uptick.
I know they've announced. Yeah, I know they've announced. So they've said, hey, support is ending, but it's going to be hilarious when that 40 drops and all of a sudden there's this big massive sale and they get like a windfall and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, it's a lot of value for a 40 ball. Like,
It is.
I'd get it. Like, I probably will get it because I also want to play Lux and the other character. I forget her name. I think it's like Samir or something like that, or Samira. I don't know. But yeah, I like the game enough. But yeah, it's just disappointing because it's like you won't get anything else beyond that. And for somebody like Riot, it's kind of disappointing, especially like if it were an indie studio, sure, right? But this is Riot. And they spent like a decade working on this game, and then it doesn't even last a year. I truly think that like the people that actually like the game, I'm sure there's going to be an influx of people that initially are going to like doom about it or even make fun of it. The fact that like they're not continuing development, but then there will be people that come around and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll get the game. It looks like a good game, and then they'll start enjoying it, but there won't be a ranked ladder or anything like that and some stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to pour one out for 2XKO.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's not quite multiverses. I don't know what. I won't go down that rabbit hole, multiverses, but I don't know why they changed it so much from.
I totally get. Multiverses was popular initially, and then it
went away for like 3 years, 3 years.
But honestly, like unless you have Smash in your name, anytime a platform comes out, another platform fighter comes out, it's just doomed.
Yeah.
Some have lasted a good amount. I mean, Rivals of Aether is probably, and Brawlhalla are like the two kind of exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, when you put out a platform fighter and your name isn't Smash, even if it's great, it's just doomed. Like I tried so hard to promote Rushdown Revolt, but yeah, the game just fell off a cliff. And then there's what is it? Combo. What is that one coming out?
Combo Devils. That looks good.
Devils.
That looks good.
It does look good. It looked good, but I know now the one thing I will say about Combo Devils is it's more single player focused, right? I mean, they have matches, but one key thing that this one is doing that the others haven't been doing is
It has like
like
a
a
rogue
great
light mode.
yeah, it has a roguelike, it has a great single player mode. So if you don't want to be like this is the thing that I wish fighting game developers would get through their heads, which is not every not everyone in the FGC wants to spend the majority of their time in sweat matches in fighting games. Some of us want to get in and out of a match, but also be able to do other stuff. And if you look at the fighting games that have historically sold very, very well, including the ones that are selling well right now, the one common thing linking them all is they have great content for casuals and single player.
Yeah.
Like even though the pro players and the diehards, as far as Street Fighter Six is concerned, they moan and groan about we want balance patches, we want changes, we want skins for the regular cast. The thing that's been keeping, even though people don't want to admit it, the thing that's been keeping SF6 afloat is the casual content. Initially with World Tour, but also the avatars, the battle mode, the battle pass. That's how Street Fighter 6 has been getting its money. Same thing with MK, even though they're not releasing new content for MK1 or MK11, but people are still playing those games because you're constantly wanting to unlock new costume pieces and stuff from the tower mode and the challenges. So even if they're not giving new content to the game, there's always something for you to do in the game other than sweat matches. There's nothing wrong with sweat matches. Ranked is the cornerstone of any competitive fighting game, but it can't be the only thing you offer.
Yeah, and that was another problem with 2XKOs that they didn't have a single player offering from the beginning. Like they had
Right.
like the trial. They're basically like Street Fighter 5 on launch. So like
Yes.
yeah, so even that kind of didn't help. But again, now that they're more of a fleshed out product, that $40 might entice some people. But then again, like I wonder if they're going to come out. No, they're not going to come out with a physical edition of it either. Excuse me.
No.
That would be interesting if they did, but they're not going to do that.
No.
So yeah,
Because there isn't a physical release of any of their other games, so I don't see why they'd be any for.
yeah, but I would say that to say that they have to kind of treat this as a different game, like a different
Yes.
game altogether,
Yes.
because like somebody might be like in a Walmart or a Target and they're like, oh, this is a fighting game for $40. I'm about to get that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. They got to do something, but well, I mean, I guess they don't. They have their plan and they're kind of set to it, but
Yeah, they already made their decision. But like I
yeah,
said,
yeah.
I
So
won't be surprised if for $40 it just takes off, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, we made a f ton of money just now, but we're not supporting the game," and it's like,
yeah, that's what's gonna happen. They're not gonna walk it back. They'll just realize, oh, okay. Like if it does make a ton of money, they might be like, oh, well, maybe this was the right call to just sell it this way. But they're not gonna be like, hey, we're doing a season 2 or we're doing another one. Like, nah,
yeah,
it's the end of
Yeah.
2XKO. I just hope that. So I'll be curious if the community is into the game because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm trying to get that Riot money, right? So I wonder how the player base is going to be after it goes into service. Well, into development.
I don't really see the competitive scene continuing with it. At least on majors. Like I doubt we're gonna see this. We'll probably see it in side tournaments and Combo Breaker, Frosty Faustings, maybe even CEO. But I don't see it on the main stage in EWC and Evo or any of the other major stuff anymore because the point of, at least at the majors, the point of having a fighting game at Evo or EWC is not just for the competitive aspect, but to promote the game, but to promote people to continue to buy and support the game, which in turn you throw content like it becomes a virtuous cycle. But since they effectively broke the part of the cycle that involves releasing new content for the game and trying to actively get people to buy the game. I mean, I know that they're releasing everything bundled together at $40, but it's not to grow the game. It's to recoup their losses. It's
Right.
not the
Well, then
same.
they shouldn't have refunded. That's the other thing. Like, I know they're not trying to grow the game. They're done. But
Well, I know why they're doing the refund, because then you get out of the having to you get out of the rub of people like, okay, so now you're charging $40 for everything when I spent like $90 for all the crap that I bought in the game. That's why they're doing the refund.
yeah, but I get that. So I know why, but I mean, I guess they didn't have to refund. So it's cool that they're doing that. I mean, there's nothing saying that they had to.
I mean, you're right that they didn't have to, but I think it was. I think that this is the ethical route to go. If you know, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they just want to make everybody happy, which is commendable,
Yes.
at least.
Yes, because there are plenty of other companies that did not. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, when Multiverses went offline, I don't think they issued refunds, or did they?
I don't recall. I think they did.
Yeah. Okay.
I could
But
be
there
wrong.
have been examples of other games where they just up and left and people did not get their money back. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
good on Riot for that.
yeah. We'll give them that. Yeah, I agree there. That's a good look. But yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well,
I guess one other thing to wait for, like it's like I'm gonna make this into a discussion about either dead fighting games or dying fighting games, or the only other one. Every other one is pretty solid for right now. I know Tokon's going through its headaches, but it's still doing okay for the most part. DOA, the what was supposed to be the DOA 6. I mean, Koei Tecmo should get a type of award for how epically they fumbled the bag on DOA 6 last round. Like it's astonishing, really.
yeah. I just wasn't interested in DOA 6, and then after seeing the fallout of it, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the original game. I even have most of the character DLC. I don't have all the costume DLC because that's crazy. Like it's like $300 worth of stuff if you want every single piece and costume for the game. But at least all the characters. So for them to come to me and be like, okay, well, if you want the next version, if you want to have the updated version, you're basically going to have to pay the exact same amount that you had last time for what is effectively a patch. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I remember we talked about this in a prior video, but I know they announced also a new character, Kusanagi.
Yeah.
Are they announcing more characters or?
So they haven't announced any new characters besides Minato. And then they've technically were reintroducing the DLC, the DLC characters from the previous game, the previous version, the vanilla, which were guest characters from SNK, which were Kula and Mai. But and that's another thing that sort of rubbed me the wrong way. I paid for Kula and Mai in the vanilla version, and then for last round, you're expecting even people who bought the original game and bought the DLC to have to rebuy the DLC for the new game, and that no, we're not. I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm not
It would've
getting the
been one
game, but I
thing.
wouldn't do it in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, for people that never bought the game in the first place, sure. Or if people never bought the Cool and My DLC in the vanilla, to still require them to have to pay for the DLC for the update, yeah, that makes sense. But for people that already invested in your game to begin with, this should have been a free update, a la World Stage. When Sega put out the World Stage and Revo update for Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, most of that stuff was free. Yeah, for the people that bought it for PS4, the update to Revo and then the World Stage, those were free updates.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
'cause
you're telling me that? Yeah, go ahead.
when I got VF5, I had it on PS4, and then I think I paid like a little small amount because like I think there was a version between
Yeah,
Revo.
there's a deluxe edition that came with some costume pieces and exclusive like summer bikini costumes for some of the characters, and then like it had costume pieces like the Dreamcast and Sega Saturn and
Yeah,
Sega Genesis, like you put it on their back or whatever.
yeah, I remember having to pay like I remember spending. It was definitely less than $10 to
Yeah,
upgrade. So I was like, this
and
is
totally
fine.
fair.
I wasn't
And
mad at
and
that.
and in that case, you technically weren't paying for the upgrade. You were paying for the additional content which was released for the upgrade.
Yeah,
So
but
that
they still wanted you to they still wanted you to spend $7 on draw. I was like, I'm not dropping $7 on this character, bro. It's crazy.
which is weird because then it's funny because in most cases like Dura, traditionally in most virtual fighter tournaments Durell is banned anyway, so I don't really even understand what that was for. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know either. But all right, I'm gonna call it here on that.
yep.